Hello! Today we are changing rear brake discs and pads on the Rover 75. This will cover every single Rover 75 except V8 engine cars. And also MG ZT, all ZTs up to the ZT 190. So ZT 120 and 160. The 190 and upwards, also the V6 and V8 ZTs has different brakes, but diesel cars and 1.8 turbo and non-turbo has these brakes on the ZT as well. Very straightforward, nothing special about it. So let's start. As you can see, I have already jacked the car up, removed the wheel. So now I will start with the return spring, remove that. So I'll position you a little bit better so you can see what I do. Oh, come on, there you are, like that. And so I'll relocate you a little bit again. Oops, there. And remove the dust caps for the slide pins. Come on, there. And then you will need a 7mm hex for the slide pins. There we are, both out. Now you can see these are pretty clean because I have disassembled this a little while ago to check the overall condition, what I need to renew and what I can reuse. And I have cleaned this with wire wheel brush. And before assembling again, it's important to have some grease on these so they don't stick. Now let's remove the caliper, like that, and the brake pads. And if you're not familiar with the Rover 75, parts availability is no problem. Many might think it's a big risk to buy these cars because they are getting rarer and therefore parts accessibility is maybe limited, but that isn't the case. In some things maybe, but not things like this. Now it's time to take off the caliper bracket, and you need a 13mm for the bolts here. So the lower one, you can use a socket and wrench like this, but not on the upper one because it's not space enough. So I have one of these. Like that. I that's loose. Oh, now I can take the rest of the way only by hand. Like so. And take the carrier off. Now it's time to remove the brake disc. And to remove the brake disc, you need a T55 Torx to remove the screw. Like so. And then we can remove the brake disc. This can be a little bit stuck. In that case, you need to use a flathead screwdriver. Locate the adjuster wheel inside here. You need to use some light to see that, and adjust to pull back the handbrake shoes. Like that. And now that the brake disc is off, you can check the condition of the handbrake shoes. Very important to check on these is that the friction material doesn't separate from the back plate, or what I should call it, because that's not unusual for a car that's this old. It's 25 years old now, so that's not abnormal. But these are still good. Doesn't look the prettiest, but it works perfectly fine. So no reason to replace this, really. It can be reused. And this is the adjuster wheel to pull in or tighten the handbrake. So yeah, now it's time to find some new parts. Here's the new parts, and I have already cleaned the hub assembly and given it a light coat of grease just around the edge here, not so much here, but around here and here, because that's where the disc are rusting solid if you don't have any kind of grease or anything there. Don't put a lot on the surface here, but just around here and here. Then let's get the new brake disc on and locate the mounting point for the fastening bolt. That went on very well, like that. And then we take the bolt and just enter it like that. This doesn't need to be very tight, just and that's good enough. Now this is only slightly dragging at a certain point, which means it is perfect. Now I should have shown you how to properly adjust the handbrake shoes on these cars, but I have already done it when I had everything apart to check the condition of everything. So I am very sorry about that. I will see if I can do that for you on another car. I have several of these cars waiting for quite a lot of work, so the opportunity will come. But for now, I don't have there's no reason for me to do that now when everything's okay on that department with this car. Now, when it comes to brake parts on these cars, these brake discs you cannot interchange with any other car than Rover 75 or MG ZT, but the brake caliper on the rear brake caliper on these cars with standard brakes that this has, this is the same brake caliper as an E36 BMW 3 Series with 10mm thick brake disc, solid brake disc like this. And The brake pads this car uses is also for several BMW cars. BMW 7 Series from 86 to 94, Set 3 from 95 to 03, and the 5 Series from 87 to 95. Possibly some else also, but I'm not sure about that. So if you need a caliper for this, you do get calipers for this that are specifically for the Rover 75, but it's easier on the aftermarket to get BMW calipers, because then you can also get them for a better price. I think I paid, because I've changed rear calipers on my other 75, and I paid around 50 euros, I think 40-50 euros per caliper. So you can get them to a very decent price new, really, so not difficult. But this doesn't often fail. I haven't seen these fail very often. I've just replaced them to, yeah, because it looks better with fresh new calipers when you do restoration on cars. So now I will stop talking a little bit and get the caliper bracket back on again. I have already cleaned and greased these up, so I won't have to do that again. So it's back on again with the caliper bracket. Oh, now I hung my light in a very stupid position. Ooh. Oops, missed the threads. There we are. Like that. And the upper one. Oh, there we are. No. There. I also use a little bit of grease on these mounting bolts. Technically, you're not supposed to do that, because it means that they can work themselves loose, but I have never experienced it. I know it can happen, but this is my own car, so therefore I do this like I wish to do myself. My car, my rules. Your car, your rules. This is just to show how you can do this. So let's tighten the upper bolt. I never bother to use any torque settings on these. I have never done, never had any issues don't doing it. It's no point over tightening them, because you are supposed to be able to take them off at a later point. I'm a little bit old-fashioned, so I don't bother with torque settings. So now it's time for pads. Bought some fancy Brembo pads because they were on discount. Same with the brake discs. Nice coated brake discs. I like coated brake discs. It just looks so much better behind aluminium or Jesus Christ, I have no breath. Behind aluminium rims, it looks so much nicer with these zinc primed brake discs, and they don't rust quite as fast. One thing I also don't do as much, I don't use a lot of wheel cleaners while the wheels are on the car, because they dry out grease and such things quite quicker. So you will, oops, the brake disc will rust quicker. You will also experience slide pins and that kind of things losing its grease and get slower in motion quite quicker. So I like to sometimes use wheel cleaner when I wash my car, but as rare as possible. I like to do it when I have the wheels off the car. So like that. Now you are not supposed to use any type of anti-seize or anything on here because this has this special plating, so you don't have to grease with anything here, and not around here either, because we have greased in here on the caliper bracket, and that is enough really. Like that. And this one for the caliper. No, I forgot. I need to press in the piston a little bit because these pads are a bit thicker than the old ones. There, the piston is pushed slightly in. Then let's get the pad inside here. It looks a little bit rusty and not so nice, but it works perfectly, this caliper. So now put some grease on the slide fins. And these I don't tighten very hard either, just fairly snug. You can notice when it stops, and then a good little twist. Like that. No need to over tighten. And then the dust caps goes back on. That, and the return spring is there. Put it on the correct way isn't a bad idea. Like that. Seated correctly. And now finally you can just smear a thin little layer of grease around the center here before you put the wheel back on, and that is how you replace rear discs and pads on a Rover 75 and MG ZT. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.